My first question is, Rishi Sanak is now the closest anyone of the Indian origin has ever been to taking charge as British Prime Minister. His Conservative Party colleagues voted overwhelmingly in favor with 137 votes in the final round on Wednesday. The former Chancellor is not assured a similarly easy ride as he faces a much tougher electorate of the Tory membership base, which has shown favoritism for his rival Liz Truss in most recent surveys. What are his chances? Why should people vote for him?
Well, I think he's very able, very smart, very professional, and very well-informed politician in the Tory or Tory party in UK. And as you know that before Prime Minister Boris Johnson resigned, he was number 2. And he was a very young, dynamic, dashing politician. And personally, I mean, I'm biased about him because he's of Indian origin, Indian descent. Obviously, he born in England, but his parents were Indian descent. I think he's Punjabi, if I'm not wrong. Sonak is a Punjabi name, correct? So maybe, but and he married to a very close friend of mine, Narayan Murthy, who is a founding chairman of the Infosys, which is the largest tech company in India. It's a public company, and he married to Narayan Murthy's daughter. So all in all, I personally favor him, and let's see what happens. I think he has a 80% chances that he might be a prime minister, and this is a history making because once he becomes a prime minister, he's the first prime minister who is kind of Indian descent or even foreign descent in UK, because in the United Kingdom so far none of the prime minister in their 1,000 years of history or whatever long history they have, none of the prime minister was non-English prime minister. So it's a history making, and it's a very welcome change in the UK democracy.
Is the excitement similar when Kamala Harris was running for the vice presidentship in India, especially?
No, I think it's more than that, because see here, this person, Sonak, I mean Rishi, has 80% chances that he will be prime minister, and that is a top post of the UK, United Kingdom, and that is a country which ruled us 200 years, so or colonized us for 200 years. So if you look at that way, nostalgic way, it is much more important than Kamala Harris running for vice president. Obviously, there was excitement in India that time when Kamala Harris was running, but it did not have that significant. If she would have ran for presidency, then it is a different thing.
And they will be having the debate soon. So where do you think the points will be raised? How different are the thought processes of Rishi Sanak and Liz Truss? What will be?
I think what I understand that Rishi Sanak is a very accomplished economist. He was a finance minister. He was they call it as a chancellor, and his way of economy is a kind of more of supply side of the economy. It means they believe in the less small government, less taxes, and more business. And about Liz, I'm not familiar with her thinking, but I'm sure being a Tory person, usually all the members of the Tory party,
they are conservatives.
They are like a Republican Party here. Right. They like small government. They like less taxes, and they like to encourage more private businesses. And so I'm sure both are more or less same thing, you know.
There is so much of clarity when you say, like Republican Party, they want less taxes. Did people in US not understand this when they voted for President Biden?
Well, they understand, but unfortunately, that time media was against President Trump, and they really, as you know, the media has that power. They can make you king, or they can tear you down, and I think
And the big tech also.
and they all kind of highlighted all his mistake or twisted his speeches and his quotation and so forth. And so I think that was the reason why Biden won.
Do you think we'll see some changes in the midterm?
I think so, because right now even Biden popularity is very low. I think it's about 36 or 35%. And plus, even Democrats are getting tired of the Biden because of high inflation. Means day-to-day commodities or essential thing is very expensive for common American person. Food or gasoline or whatever you call it, everything is so expensive. So I think Biden will have a very tough time in 2024.
For him to go to Saudi and ask for petrol and diesel and gas, do you think that was a wise decision when we have all the rich reserves here in the United States?
Well, that is unfortunate Democratic Party's policy that we don't want to drill here.
But drill elsewhere, is that okay for the climate?
Yeah, because they think that drilling here is kind of for creating more pollution or more. So that's their thinking. But I don't think that thinking can last too long, because I think now they can realize that not drilling here and asking from even Saudi Arabia more petrol is going to be more expensive. So it doesn't solve the problem.
And I read about the electric vehicles, you know, they are using nickel and magnesium. All these, you have to drill the earth to get these elements out. And for that, you again need, you know, the energy, the everything, the diesel.
And I think electric vehicles are good, but right now it's kind of too far for reality in a sense in common public, because there is not enough charging stations available. There is, it's too much cumbersome. Plus, the cost of the electrical vehicle, in spite of subsidy, is very high, and the life of battery is also very short. So, if you want to really, and in the USA, everyone drives quite a long distance and far off. So, only having capacity of 250 miles per battery or per car in given time is not enough.
It's not.
So then, if you don't have enough for charging station, then you get stuck somewhere. So I think it's not popular that way. It's not.
It's not cheaper compared to.
It's not cheaper at all.
Okay.
So I think it will take a long time to be a reality.
Okay. My next question is: Sri Lanka's president-elect is a 6-time Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe. He won a parliamentary vote to succeed Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who fled the country and resigned last week. Is that good news for Sri Lanka? Does he have the power, resources and the money to pull out Sri Lanka from the deep economic crisis?
I have a feeling that probably people of Sri Lanka may not accept him, and there will be some protest because his close relation with the outgoing president and outgoing Rajapaksa family. So, and it is very challenging to pull out from this whole chaotic and calamity and the economic disaster, and it takes almost next 4 to 5 years before they can pull it out, provided IMF and other country helps them. So I think it's not an easy job. It's not going to happen in the next few months or 1 year. And I think I have a feeling that people are against him.
Oh.
So because of his connections or association with the
The Rajapaksa family.
Rajapaksa, because right now he won the election because most of the MLA were Rajapaksa's party MLA.
Oh.
And so that is again, I don't know how people are going to react. Let's see what happens.
So Parliament Monsoon Session 2022 in India, government lines up 32 bills for discussion in houses. The opposition is demanding a debate in Parliament on the issue of price rise and GST, but the government is not agreeing. What do you have to say on that?
Well, I think any important issue like GST and price rise, there should be a discussion, and in democracy, and let's hear everyone's point of view, and after discussion, let's vote for it. And if majority believes in favor of government of India, be so. But discussion has to be there and should be there in democracy.
And what about the latest, the rupee falling to comparison?
Well, because of our dollar, US dollar is getting very strong, and that's why rupees are falling kind of historical low, is almost 80 rupees per dollar. And that is not good news for Indian economy, because that that makes all Indian import and export very expensive, and not many buyers or sellers will be there, and that will create the more inflation in India, and that will affect the common people.
What does India need to do?
India has to raise again, just like here they are raising the interest rate, they should raise the interest rate, and once they raise the interest rate, the amount of money, liquidity of the money, they should kind of pull out or make it kind of drain out, because that way people don't have too much money in their hand to spend. And otherwise inflation can go out of hand. And right now in India also inflation is very high.
It's very high.
Right.
Now I want to understand, how does the dollar become so powerful when here in US our purchasing powers are getting lower because of the inflation?
Other country, if they want to print money other than USA, they have to put gold as a collateral. And that's one thing. Second thing is, most of the world transaction, like buying or selling the petrol for any country, happens in dollar. It means Saudi Arabia only, or this oil producing company, they all only take they do the business in dollar. And that's why I think dollar has unique situation, and that's why it's very powerful right now. And that indirectly is hurting USA too, because once you have very strong dollar, your import and export again gets affected. So it's a vicious cycle there.
It is. So another question is, over 163,000 Indians gave up their citizenship last year, the highest since 2015, with almost half of them choosing to become US citizens, according to the data shared by the Union government in Parliament on Tuesday. Why do you think this is happening? Is it a good thing or time for the Indian government to see the red flag?
No, I think because USA is a land of opportunities and land of what you call, it's a dream land where the person can, if they work hard, they can reach any height. And the life, day-to-day life is so easy and without any kind of interference, without any kind of day-to-day corruption. So availability of all the goods is very easy. While in India, sometimes what happens is, even though you have plenty of money, certain thing you cannot get it because availability is not there, right? So I think it's good that whatever 163,000 or 200,000 people are getting US citizen. It's very good news, because that way they will have they and their family will have a better life, plus they by better opportunities. So by earning more money, they can send more money back home.
Right.
So back home, people who are there, their families or friends, they will be benefited. So it's all win-win situation.
Okay. Okay, so my last question for you today is, how excited are you for this year's India Day Parade organized by Federation of Indian Associations, FIA?
Well, as you know, I'm a senior advisor to Federation of Indian Association, and I am with the FIA since inception. And last several years, I'm being a grand sponsor of this parade, and this is the second largest parade outside India. I mean, after Delhi parade, and this is a great platform where we can showcase our culture, our political views, our religious views, and we can tell our second generation that where we come from and what is India is about, Mother India is about, and so forth. So I think it's a great teaching to the second generation and great teaching to the American here to showcase that who we are. And I think this year Grand Marshal is very pan India superstar Allu Arjun, who had one very successful movie last few months called Puspa. And I'm sure a lot of our South Indian and North Indian
Of course, yes.
has watched this movie.
Yeah, huge fan.
Huge fan, right. So I think this year, having this Allu Arjun, we selected Allu Arjun as a Grand Marshal. So we hope that there will be more South Indian and North Indian together. There will be more young people will be there. And that's the whole idea behind selecting Allu Arjun. Because sometimes what happens is in some India Day parade, only Bollywood star attracts only North Indian. They don't attract the South Indian because they have their different film industries. So this way, I think this year, I think we have a chance to attract both the South and North, pan India into the parade.
Very sensible decision.
Right.
So any last words of advice before we leave?
Well, dear friends, now the summer is, this is the height of the summer. We have a lot of good things are happening. One is India Day Parade is happening. Our Grand Marshal is Allu Arjun, who is a superstar, pan India superstar. And he's very popular among the young generation, young girls and boys. And he's the most sick or more look after in the Google as well as all the social media. So please come and join the parade. Parade will be on 21st of August in Manhattan. We'll start from 38th Street and will end on 23rd Street. And in the evening we have very nice dinner gala on Pier 60. And a lot of festivity. So please come and join us. And also let's hope that our Indian descent candidate Rishi Sanak will be a next Prime Minister of UK and should make a history in the history of the United Kingdom. So till then, let me conclude saying God bless you, God bless America, God bless India, God bless Indian American, and we'll see you next time. Till goodbye.